What's going on, Rotation family? It's your boy Vic Nasty. Unfortunately, my partner in crime, Tap Out Beast, couldn't be here right now because he is off socially distancing and celebrating the holiday with his family. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there in Rotation Land. This is a home edition of What's on Your Plate. It's just going to be me and Khaleesi tonight. But still doesn't change the fact that the missus expects to have a phenomenal Thanksgiving dinner, whether we can be with our loved ones or be away from them. So tonight we're going to be doing just a quick little 1, 2, 3 of a quick Thanksgiving dinner. It doesn't make sense to make a whole turkey, only because we're going to be together and it's just going to be me and her, and we don't really like the leftover thing beyond a couple of days. So today we're going to be doing a roast turkey breast. We're going to be doing homemade stuffing. I am going to cheat. I didn't make my own 3-day-old bread stuffing. I did pick up a package of just the stuffing mix, but it's not going to be the stovetop. We are going to be doing it with what you would normally do, a homemade stuffing. We're also going to be doing some cream spinach, which is one of her personal favorites, and we are also going to be doing some roasted carrots and her favorite stovetop mac and cheese. And not that box stuff. I'm going to teach you today how to make that box stuff, but from scratch for your loved ones. They'll never want the Kraft mac and cheese stuff again. So thank you for coming out for another episode of That's on What's on Your Plate. Thanks for coming out for another episode of What's on Your Plate. And let's go ahead and get the thing started. Again, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Rotation TV loves you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and start your oven up at 450 degrees. We're not going to be cooking at 450 degrees, but we want to go ahead and get this started in a rip-roaring hot oven. So get that oven started to 450 degrees. All right, so here we have our turkey breast. It's been brining for about 4 hours. You can go up to 12 hours depending on how salty your brine is. Some people suggest 24, but with a smaller cut of poultry, I always feel the smaller the poultry, the better it is to go ahead and go less on the time. And plus, you know, with turkey breast, they tend to be pre-brined, or they put a solution in them which is meant to keep them juicy. But again, you know, it never hurts to get some flavor into your meat. So we're going to go ahead and drain this out, and we're going to go ahead and sit it on a rack and let it kind of drip dry until we wash it off and pat it dry. All right, guys, here we have some melted butter. Still a little bit hard. You don't want it super soft, because what we're going to do is we've got some herbs in here. Normally you could use rosemary, you could use thyme, you could use sage. I've got oregano and basil and paprika. Here's the underside of our breast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a trick which would be normally called spatchcocking. What spatchcocking is when you would split your turkey halfway down the middle, or split your chicken halfway down the middle, and then you kind of butterfly it. So I'm going to butterfly this breast so that this way we can kind of cook more evenly and get it cooked a little quicker. So here I have what I call poultry shears. Poultry shears are great because it allows you to cut through that breastbone. It allows you to cut through all that cartilage. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, get in, and I'm going to cut. Flipper, push down, and now, as you can see, we've got a nice butterflied turkey breast. So we're going to take that butter that you saw earlier, and we're going to fill this area with that. But as you can see, we've got that compound butter. I put this inside the freezer for a second just to make it a little firm. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab you some of that butter. You're just going to kind of that in your hand. That'll soften it back up. All right, and you're going to get that underneath your bird. You can kind of flatten out there, because the whole idea of this is that this will, underneath that roasted skin, melt and just season up your bird. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our butterfly turkey breast and We're going to lay her on that bed of celery and carrots that we created. All right, so we've got our herb buttered turkey here. Pro tip of the day: you're going to sprinkle the outside with salt and pepper. If you've got this in your kitchen, or you've only got, let's go ahead and cover that up, that in your kitchen, well, you should always have this in your kitchen, and you should always have something like that in your kitchen. Now, I mentioned you were going to do some roasted carrots, and the way that I'm going to do those is I'm actually going to go ahead and just cook those with my bird. Last thing we're going to do with this is we are going to take a drizzle of some robust EVOO. Now remember, my oven's at 450. I'm not going to cook at 450, but I want that oven hot, so as soon as it gets in there, it starts the roasting process. I'm going to cook this at about 350. It's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes per pound. This is a 5-pound turkey, so we're looking at roughly about an hour and a half on the roast, but we're going to check her at about an hour. Collective, Sharonda, Collective. All right, so we've been going for about 55 minutes now. All right, so here we've got our mise en place. Turkey's just about done. We got some garlic, got some onion, we got some celery and some carrots and some shallots. We're going to use about half the onions, the shallots, and the garlic for our cream spinach. This is going, the other half of onion will go inside of our stuffing with our celery and carrots, and I'll go ahead and kind of walk you guys through that in a moment here. All right, so we started with a cast iron skillet, and we're going to go ahead and melt some butter. And once that's melted down, we're going to go ahead and take half of our onions and we're going to go ahead and kind of pop that in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So here we've got our garlic, we've got our onions, and we've got our shallots. They've all been kind of marrying in that butter. Now, most cream spinach recipes will call for flour at this time. Pro tip: I don't use flour. I do use flour when I'm making a roux, but we're not really making a roux here, so I don't really have to cook off that flour. So I'm going to go with cornstarch by Argo. Here I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons worth. And once we get that cornstarch in, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get that moving. Now, next step, you have 3 options. 3. You can go with half and half, which is kind of the middle point, you know, and that's what most people do with their creamy spinach. Half and half will work. I get a little crazy with it. I like a thicker, richer cream spinach. The milk, a little bit of half and half, and a little bit of heavy whipping cream. That's where I like to get a little rich and wild with it. Any of the 3 will work. You can go with straight whipping cream for a richer thickness. As you can see, what's happening there. It's thickening up. It's thickening up. All right, so we're back here. We've got our cream spinach with the half and half, with the milk, with the heavy cream, salt, pepper, nutmeg inside this bad boy. This is totally optional. This is something I like to do though. I like to put some quartered cherry tomatoes inside of my cream spinach. It adds a little bit of zip, a little bit of acid, and I think it just makes for a good flavor. Optional, not necessary. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just incorporate those in. Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and kind of stir that in and get that going. And you can see our cream is there, but it's not cheesy yet, ladies and gentlemen. It's not cheesy yet. And the way that we're going to get that cheesy is we are going to do 2 things. First, go ahead. We're going to put some mozzarella in that. We're going to incorporate that and fold that in. So you can just kind of flip that over, and if you got those astute ears, you should be able to hear my water boiling for my mac and cheese. And I'll show you how to assemble that in a couple of minutes. Only thing left to do is the stuffing and to take the bird out of the oven. Here is the other pièce de résistance cream cheese. I know you're probably saying, Jesus Christ, how is this healthy? Well, it's Thanksgiving. It's supposed to be healthy. So I'm gonna let you just let that cook down. What we're gonna do with that is once that's all kind of melted and incorporated, we're gonna pop that in the oven 15 minutes, maybe 300 degrees, and then once everything's said and done, we're gonna top it with a little parm, shredded parm, grated parm on top. I've got the sliced stuff, but I'll show you what the final product looks like once we're all set and done. So here's our bird, a little bit of crispy skin there. We're gonna go ahead and put our tent foil over this. And now we got this bad boy tented. We're gonna let that sit for about 15 minutes. Let it do its thing. Got our pasta boiling. We've got our mise en place in the pan for our stuffing. Go ahead and cook that down. Let that do its thing. Get your celery, your carrots, your onions cooking through. In a second, we're going to add some ground sausage. Let that cook through, and then a cup of broth. And start that up, and I'll have our mac and cheese ready to go in a little bit, guys. We are back. Our pasta's been cooked, drained. Here, you're going to go with a can of evaporated milk. I'm going to go with one. Get that skill. One-handed. I'm going to go with two. We're going to go ahead and incorporate that. What you want to do is you want to mix that up here. And inside of this, you're going to mix up about 16 ounces of cheddar. I got to keep some secret, so I'm not going to let you guys see what kind of cheese I'm using here. But again, you know, boiled pasta, 2 eggs. You can go with an egg if you don't want it as rich. You're going to put a stick of butter, again with the butter. And then you're going to add your cheese. And you're just going to cook that on low until everything kind of homogenizes. Here we've got our mise en place, which was cooked through. We've got some chicken broth on that. We're going to heat up a little bit of ground sausage. We're going to incorporate all of that, and then we're just going to add our stuffing. Guys, I think that's going to be pretty much everything. And I will show you that final shot in about 15 minutes. Alright guys, so that's been Thanksgiving. Khaleesi's got the camera now. She's off of work. Her day's over. We're going to go ahead and dig into this delicious meal. As you can see, wifey's going to go ahead and bring in that camera real quick. We've got our herb and butter roasted turkey with our roasted carrots. We got our mac and cheese. A little bit of spinach got in that, but that's alright. It's all going in the same place. We got our stuffing with sausage, and we've got our cream spinach. Guys, you know how this goes. If Beast was here, he would do it with me. You see what's on our plate. We just want to know what's on your plate. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.